streaming now.
Do it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think we're live. Everybody, I told Jerry, I said we have to go live today, or we will have like the Baltimore riots, but across the world.
But let's be honest. I wasn't trying to weasel out of the show today. Okay, I wasn't. I wanted to do today's show.
Well, it's not like I put up a fight last week. No, I was right in the middle of the Skunkworks build, and I just was like, I want to get this shit done.
I know it's easy sometimes to get overwhelmed with a bunch of stuff and be like, yeah, I think we'll just skip that one really important thing that everybody waits for.
Yeah, I love how people are like, late. No, we're not. We're already streaming.
Yeah, dude, we're like early this time. You guys
are dumb.
You guys don't even know.
Yeah. All right, let's go and roll an intro.
Do it.
And today's TechTalk 75 used to be Jay's number on his jersey. Woo! Fun fact.
I haven't pulled out the Arnold in a long time.
Oh my god, I screwed that up.
I'm like super saturated. What the hell? Actually, it sounds like a drinking problem. I'm so saturated right now.
Oh, it's just perspiring. I drank too much alcohol.
My BAC is super saturated.
You're back.
Alrighty. Guys, we have something unprecedented today. Are you ready for this?
Oh my god, you're not going to believe it.
We have 6 topics.
Whoa,
but only 3 of them are on the document because I didn't bother to update it for Jerry, so he has no idea what what my topics are.
It's okay. I'll fly blind. That is absolutely fine.
Don't you do that every time you fly your drone? No, because it's a drone.
Actually, you know what? That brings up our first topic there, Jay.
You like that segue?
I did. That was a very beautiful segue. And that is the FAA is finally starting to show a willingness to back off of us drone peoples that want to fly out of sight. Because everybody knows that the current FAA regulations say that you can only fly a drone within visual sight. So if you fly it over a building or you fly it over to the trees, even though everybody does it, it's technically illegal. Well, the FAA now is starting to say that because they understand that there's other operations that require it to go out of sight, like for land surveying, package delivery, Amazon, yeah, we're looking at you, security monitoring, real estate photography, stuff like that. They're starting to become a little bit more relaxed about it, and they're saying that they're going to start allowing it allow drone use for commercial applications, which is actually going to be really cool. Because right now, the only way you can fly a drone out of sight is if you have an exemption from the FAA. Getting that exemption, I would guess, is going to be damn near impossible for most businesses.
Yeah, the FAA is definitely set in some old ways.
I know, right?
I forgot to actually tweet this out. My bad. See how bad I am at this? 1 week off, and I'm like, I forget how to do a podcast and a live stream.
I know. Today I've been the one pushing it. Look at me go.
Oh, I'm glad you're picking up the slack.
I know. At least one of us is always on point. You guys can be assured that one of us is always on point.
So I finally got all the monitors set back up. I was running just the Swift without any of the 3 satellite monitors surrounding it for my editing and stuff. And I finally got used to one panel again. Now that they're all hooked up, I keep losing my cursor. I'm like, where's my cursor? I can't find my
because
cursor.
you have so much screen real estate?
Yeah.
I actually made my cursor large because even on the 46-inch screens, I'm like looking around. I'm like, where is it? If I have white backgrounds, I'm screwed.
It's funny, though. The FAA, obviously controls the drones and stuff. The Federal Aviation Administration.
Correct.
But now we've got a lot of self-driving type stuff happening, right? Now, there's a self-driving big rig on the market. So it makes you wonder, like, DOT is going to be regulating like self-driving cars, and then you've got the FAA is going to be regulating, these automated self-driving, aircraft and stuff. This article comes from CNET, by the way. We got to give attribution where it is due. I like how you said we're looking at you, Amazon, because wasn't it like a year ago or a year and a half ago when they said that they were wanting to use drones to deliver small packages for Amazon Prime?
Well, here's the thing is Amazon has been testing this drone thing now for I think it's been about a year or two that it's been in the makes, but because the FAA keeps telling them that they can't conduct trials, because of course they want to go out and they want to get huge pieces of land and go test this. But the FAA is saying it's not even legal for them to test it on their own land. Outdoors is outdoors. FAA, sorry, you can't fly out of sight. So the only way to test your service is to basically chase the drones around with a chase vehicle, which doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense. So Amazon actually stood up to the FAA and said, listen, we'll just take our shit to another country if you guys aren't going to be cool about it over here. And that's what really started the fires under the FAA to start changing the rules. So you could say that Amazon is one of the front runners for getting the rules changed.
Amazon's kind of like Google when it comes to trying to push the boundaries of that sort of thing. The FAA, man, I don't know what it is. Again, it's just another agency run by old men, and they just the FAA is so concerned with commercial flights and things like that that they haven't stopped to think about the progression of technology and what it really means to the sky. So they're kind of being forced to now.
Yeah, like one of the applications that I read about was really cool. Apparently, Yamaha makes this helicopter. Good old Yamaha. Yamaha makes everything. They make like televisions and microwaves and plant stands. No, but they created this manless or UAV helicopter that can be used for spraying crops. Well, imagine if you have to wake up every morning, go get in your airplane and fly and spray your crops every single day. You're paying somebody to do that, or you're doing it yourself. It's much more efficient and cheap for you to just have an unmanned aerial craft every single day, rain or shine, sick or whatever. Take off and go do this to your crops. And
so you are in favor of putting hundreds or thousands of people out of jobs in, say, the Midwest?
Well, you do remember at Microsoft, I was an automation specialist.
Yeah, you did write your replacement.
I did. I actually got my own ass laid off because I made software that did such a good job that I was no longer necessary, and apparently 25,000 other people were no longer necessary.
Yeah, but that's because now they have how many thousands of alpha testers now?
I know the world. They fired 25,000 and got like, I don't know, 70 million free testers because free is cheaper than paying a 6-figure salary to developers and testers. Yeah. I'm not bitter at all. Not even a little, Jay.
So you're like, well, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So let all those crop duster pilots go out of work. I don't care.
Well, the crop duster pilots might lose their job, but then you have to hire a technician to maintain it. So it all balances out in the end. Come on.
I have to wonder how much of this is because they don't want the private sector having control over out of sight aircraft up in the skies. I mean, really, it's been a recent discussion in terms of national security, at least here in the United States, about whether or not the government or the military has right to fly aerial aircraft or unmanned aircraft over U.S. skies. Right. I mean,
I can understand the concern. It makes a lot of sense, especially if you have a helicopter. Like the FAA is clearing this Yamaha helicopter, to do crop dusting. Well,
every time you say Yamaha, I'm gonna giggle.
I know, seriously, right?
It's like your Diablo.
Yamaha, Yamaha. But
oh yeah, don't you know Yamaha?
Don't you know the Yamaha? But if it can carry 1,000 pounds of fertilizer, it can carry 1,000 pounds of fertilizer. We all know what fertilizer can do, and it smashes into shit. So I can see why the FAA is concerned because especially for the large UAVs, right? Because they're doing different classifications. Like anything over 50 pounds is classified differently than an aerial photography drone. But at the same time, it's like if you can program in GPS coordinates and have an unmanned aircraft that can fly, 20 miles, 50 miles on a charge or under fuel, and it can carry an explosive payload, that's going to be really hard to defend against.
Yeah,
because it's not going to pick up on radar. It's going to show as a bird, and you're going to have to rely on people seeing it from the ground and reporting it. And by the time that happens, it's out of sight again.
Come on, our government can't even pick up a guy on an ultralight flying into DC.
No, I saw that video. I was like,
Washington, and the guy was for the mail. The guy worked for the post office. He was in a post office aircraft. It's funny because if you guys, I know a lot of people watch this show and are not from the United States. So some of what we talk about, they're not clear on the laws and things. Washington D.C. is one big giant no-fly zone. Period. RC aircraft, drones, small aircraft. Instead of except for things flying in and out of the airport right by DC, the commercial, which again is a very strict landing and takeoff pattern.
Yeah.
You cannot fly within miles of DC, otherwise you're going to start having fighters scrambled in the sky. This guy just flies a little ultralight, just.
Well, a lot of people don't realize that
lands it in the freaking museum row.
That was insane. I was watching that. It's like everybody could see him too. It's not like he was flying really high. He was actually flying really low.
No, there was cell phone footage and everything. You know what's funny about that is, in fact, he was so below the radar. He had time to land it, turn it off, get out, kind of straighten his clothes before anyone responded.
He was in the White House, sitting in the dining room for 15 minutes. It was pretty
making himself a sandwich.
No, but that's exactly why the FAA is so scared about this. With things like 9/11 and aircrafts being used as a weapon, an unmanned aircraft is just that much closer to something that can be weaponized. Because obviously, if you're going to do a suicide attack, there's not much that you can do to defend against somebody other than early detection and shooting them down. But if you give people an unmanned option, then unfortunately it goes up exponentially how many people will attempt something stupid like that because they can remain anonymous. largely because they're not with the aircraft, they're not flying the aircraft,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no casualties on their side, which is another big perk.
Someone in
And
chat was like, he was just delivering the mail.
it's just, I mean, hey, come on, it was a mail carrier's aircraft,
Hey,
right?
hey, they take airmail very seriously around here.
Here's actually a funny fact that I found out. I went and did about I think it was about 2 years ago. I got a Groupon to go fly a Cessna. Like it was like, hey, come and fly a Cessna, whatever. It was pretty cheap. So I went and did it. And I mean, it was like legitimately fly a Cessna. The dude was like letting me take off and land, and he was sitting there. He never even touched the controls. I was surprised at how much balls those pilot guys have. They're like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna tell you what to do and you do it. If you know, and I'm like, well, what if I do something wrong? He's like, don't worry, I'll take care of it. It's like,
Yeah.
they don't even care. But anyways, we flew over my house. We actually took off from the airport. That took me an hour to drive to, and got to my house in like 10 minutes. So we fly over my house. But as we were flying over the house, he had to radio in twice. And it was because we crossed two freeways. I didn't realize that when you fly a private aircraft, you have to radio in when you're crossing over a freeway.
I think it depends on where you are, though.
Yeah, I'm sure the laws are different in different places, but
Like
we had to radio that, and we had a black area too. We had an area where we clipped the edge of it, and the radar picked us up, and the radar was like, you know, the person on the radio was like, you know, blah 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 aircraft call sign, blah blah blah, state your intentions or whatever. And they're like, sorry, we just crossed in a little bit on the edge there, and we deviated back out. And the guy was like, he didn't even.
What
care.
do you
Like,
think
whatever.
their response would have been from the FAA or the air traffic controller for that particular zone if his response had been Allah Akbar?
It probably like scrambling F-16s.
No,
F-18s.
if that rule doesn't exist here, and I only know that because I was getting my PPL
Oh, that's
here.
right, you were. Yeah.
In Southern California, SoCal, there's SoCal approach and SoCal departure, which controls like all of this area.
Yep.
It's one frequency depending on what your intentions are. But if you had to call out intentions every time you crossed a freeway,
You'd be screwed down there.
no one would be able to talk.
Everybody would just have the mic keyed.
Yeah.
What do you have tape on your microphone? Well, there's no real reason to ever leave it off.
And as long as you don't get near any of the international airport airspace, which is usually 10 miles around it,
Yep.
then you can fly below a certain altitude. You can pretty much fly unrestricted.
Yeah, they actually let us do some pretty cool stuff. Like, I didn't realize that when you went up there, like, I always thought that when you flew an airplane, you had to file a flight plan. And it's like, you don't. Like, we went out and got in a Cessna, and while we're in the air, he's like, hey, you want to go over there? Hey, you want to go over there? Hey, you want to go over there? And we're changing altitude, and we're flying up and doing these little vomit comet maneuvers, so you feel weightless for a few seconds. And he's diving the plane. I mean, the only thing we didn't do was barrel roll the damn thing.
I think
I was surprised you could do that. And he said, yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
all perfectly legal as long as you stay above 500 feet.
say about 500 feet, and here I think it's say below 3,000 feet. Basically, if he wants to make an altitude change like that, he'll have to radio in and get approval for an altitude block change. And then he can do whatever he wants in that altitude block as long as he stays in a certain area. Like out here, Ontario International Airport where you flew into. It's kind of hard to get, not get within 10 miles of the thing, considering, it's up against the mountain and all of that. But as long as you stay in a certain area, you can do whatever you want. It was fun. When I used to belong to the EAA, which was the Experimental Aircraft Association, we used to have a lot of fun. Like going up in full fabric, aircraft from the 30s and 40s. That was kind of scary. We're in an airplane.
Scary.
We're in an airplane that's like fabric pulled tight over wood, frame. And he's sitting here and he's like pushing the yoke forward and just doing like dives and pulling up. And I'm watching the wings like, like stretch and crack and stuff. And it's like, oh my God, we're doing this. And it's like a t-shirt wrapped around a wing.
Dude, it still scares me when I fly on commercial airliners and we hit turbulence and you look out at the wings and they're just doing this. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
No, they're designed to bend. They're designed to bend, but it always makes my heart jump in my chest when I'm like, when's she going to snap off? Because when you bend a piece of metal and it eventually breaks, that's kind of how it feels.
So what, you want to talk about Oculus?
Oh yeah, so Oculus finally announced, they announce a lot these days. They announced that they're finally going to release the Retail Rift virtual reality headset in 2016.
Not an SDK?
Oh my God, not an SDK. It's going to be like a real off-the-shelf unit, or so they say anyways. And I think the reason why they're making this announcement right now is Sony is actually making huge ground on creating their own virtual reality headset that's very similar to the Oculus. I mean, it's not exactly the same technology, but it's very similar. And the other thing is similar. Oculus is owned by Facebook now, so they have like this massive juggernaut and money surrounding them. So there should be no reason why they can't finally finish this thing. But I think the huge drawback that keeps screwing them, and this is from my own personal experience with the DK1 and the DK2 development kits, is there's still a little bit of a motion problem with it that could affect you and make you motion sick. And the other thing is the resolution is still not there.
Are you talking about the motion lag?
No, yes, but it's the funny thing is it's not perceivable lag. Like on the DK2, when you move your head around, it feels absolutely real time, but it's enough that it messes with your brain. So even though you don't perceive it, some people still get violently ill.
There's a lot of graphics. Well, okay, NVIDIA themselves specifically have worked on predictive technology for motion on VR, which is a big selling point of like GM200, like the Titan X. I didn't touch on it in my video because I'm not really that big into VR, but it does have predictive motion, which is supposed to take care of some of that slight lag. Not to mention a lot of games now that actually support VR have also predictive adjustment in the game, so you can kind of control the milliseconds of delay and prediction, so that you can kind of fine tune to your own perception and your vision. Yeah, and we'll talk about that because it's actually built into Project Cars.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. I haven't tried Project Cars. The only game I've tried on the DK2, their latest offering would be Grid 07. And it was actually a pretty good experience. I was actually very, very happy with the overall experience. And then with the DK1, I did iRacing. And again, even the DK1's head tracking was fine for me. I didn't get sick at all. And I probably turned 20 plus laps at Lime Rock in the Mazda MX-5. And I was impressed, but the problem was the resolution was so bad, you couldn't see the corner until you were past the braking point.
Yeah.
And so it was like driving around with cataracts. The DK2 was a lot better, but it was still not good enough.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm one of those people too that will probably never personally adopt VR as like a day-to-day routine of mine, even for gaming.
Right.
But that's just because I've yet to come across a headset that doesn't still make me feel sick, and it's not the motion. Even though I do get motion sick, believe it or not. Like in cars and stuff, I can't read in the car. I can't look down in the car. Like I can't mess with my phone in the car. That's why I'm never a passenger. If I'm not driving, I get sick.
Yeah.
And so every time I've tried it, I've tried the Oculus. I've tried some of the third-party ones that were out at CES, and I even tried, Razer's new one. Razer's, open source OS VR. And they all make me feel sick for the simple fact that I'm so farsighted, no matter how much it's adjusted for your eyesight.
Yeah.
My eyes and my brain still just get completely discombobulated.
And some people are always going to have problems. Like my biggest problem with the VR, and I don't get sick from it, but I do get a little disoriented, is when you play a racing game where your arms are virtually on the steering wheel in the game and you're looking at your arms, and then you go to reposition your hands on the wheel, you kind of have like a little brain stutter or a hiccup, and it goes away after time. But every single time I put them back on after waiting like a couple of minutes or like an hour, it comes back and I got to fight that stutter again. And I think people expect all their senses to be in alignment at all times. And with the VR headset, that's just not possible no matter how good the technology gets. So those people are always going to kind of be screwed.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people. I kind of am jealous of those people who can use VR and not get sick from it. Honestly, I would love to experience it in the way it's meant to be experienced, but it's like my vision and my brain just won't allow it.
You're just going to have to wait for the holodeck, man. I'm sure it's like 10 years out.
The holodeck.
I'm sure Twitter will buy the company.
That way I can have real life hallucinations.
Yeah, real life hallucinations. You can eat as much as you want and just walk out the door and it just goes gone. It's like taking a wireless dump.
But then you're instantly hungry again.
That would be weird. How weird would that be? You go in there and eat like a whole buffet and you're like, oh God, I got to take a poop nap. And you walk through the doors and it's like, oh man, whew. I feel refreshed. Walk back into it again.
Oh. Yeah.
Hey, what is that? Is that bulimia in the future? Did I just describe like Star Trek bulimia?
Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah. So you can go into that room and have sex, and you have an unplanned. You're like, oh, it's gone. That's terrible, right?
Oh, that's horrible. That's the most horrible thing I've ever heard you say, Jay.
No, it's kind of like a virtual day after pill. I guess.
Comes with all the next. Sorry, you're pregnant. You walk out the door. Miscarriage. Oh, that's horrible.
All of a sudden, it's gone.
You're horrible, Jay.
You bring out the worst in me.
I do, seriously.
Half my subscribers gone in an instant.
That's
actually
okay.
No. Really, the worst. Only 1.8% of them would walk away from that comment, I think.
I know. Hey, it's all about percentages, Jay. You just want to keep those percentages low. Anything under 5% is acceptable loss.
No, I'm only referring to my female demographic. There's only 1.8% of them, and I think I'm down to like 0.2% left.
You seriously only 1.8?
Yeah, but that's because you come off like this, innocent it's fluffy, harmless, kind of a best friend zone guy. That's why girls love you, Jerry.
Oh my god! No, I think it's just because I'm fat and I don't move very fast.
Forever.
And I feel like they can just walk really fast in the other direction. I'd never catch them.
No, you're forever in the friend zone. Let's admit
Forever in the friend zone. Forever a friend.
Oh man,
You're out of control. Oh, so what is one of your other topics? We'll do a little back.
We kind of started talking about it for a minute. I wanted to talk about Project Cars because that was one of the highly anticipated PC simulator games for me, anyway.
Literally the most requested game to date, even outpacing iRacing for most requested video.
For you?
Yes.
Oh yeah, people are demanding it for me too, especially now that I built the sim rig. See, I built the sim rig specifically for iRacing, but one of the biggest things I have hated about iRacing is it's a $10 a month subscription.
Yeah.
Plus, every car and every track is another microtransaction, and not cheap ones either. $12 per car, $15 a track.
I spent over $200, and I haven't even been able to use half the cars I bought.
Oh yeah, I've spent at least that, and that's if you wanna compete in any of the online circuits and stuff. You have to have the tracks and the cars, and if you don't, then and of course those circuits don't include like the free tracks, maybe one or two of them. So you have to pay up just to. So I preloaded Project Cars. I will admit I broke my rule of non-pre-ordering, and I pre-ordered it a day early, but still. I pre-ordered it, but I looked at it like this. It's a game that was designed by gamers for gamers in conjunction with pro drivers. So really, it was almost like a crowdsourced game, if you will. So one of the reasons why I ever owned a Microsoft Xbox back in the day was to own Forza, the Forza, 360, Forza all the way up through. And I never bought an Xbox One because I didn't want to buy Forza because of the microtransactions that even you yourself complained about.
Yes.
So Project Cars was an easy buy for me, and I installed it yesterday, and I played on it with the the 3-monitor surround config, and the game is absolutely phenomenal.
And it's gorgeous. Graphically, it's the most impressive thing I've ever seen.
Actually, I had a screen cap for this. So IGN has done some live play, let's plays of there, and what I love about the game is I keep calling it a game. It's really not a game. It is definitely a simulator.
Yeah.
Some people have said it's a bit SimCady. I don't believe it's SimCady. I do believe it's like Assetto Corsa, but with better graphics and better physics engine. I haven't played it long enough to determine whether or not it's better than iRacing in terms of the physics, but I can tell you it feels extremely realistic. And the reason why I can say that is because Willow Springs is in this game. Mm-hmm. And Willow Springs is the track that I did all my track days on. That's the track you saw from the airplane in the desert. Yeah,
it's a well-known track.
And everything I know about that track and the way to drive on it comes across perfectly in the simulator. If you take some of the corners or some of the hills too fast or too slow, the car responds exactly like I remember it.
Yep.
But everything is adjustable. Not only do you have field of view adjustability, you have field of view of all different aspects of the camera angle. So you have field of view adjustments from in the cockpit. You can do field of view from the bumper, field of view from the hood cam, field of view from the rear cam. You can even control depth of field where you can have, say, the dash in front of you be a little bit blurry as things in the distance are more in focus. So I'm just going to kind of play a little bit of the video here. There won't be any audio or anything.
If you have like a really large field.
Turn that down. It's funny, at the moment I started playing it, it was talking about field of view. So you guys can see in this video right here that's playing, Jerry, you can see it when it catches up. The dashboard is out of focus while the distance is in focus, and that's very realistic. If you drive a car and you think about it, you're not focused. Your vision sharpness is not on the dash; it's on the distance. So it
feels
a
great thing. That's cool.
The light bloom is very realistic. There's plenty of races that take place in the afternoon, so you're driving into the sun, and your visibility is extremely hampered by that.
Yep.
The game is absolutely gorgeous, and you know what is even better? So is it doesn't feel demanding. It doesn't feel like its engine requires top-end horsepower in terms of graphics. I mean, I'm running two 970s. Granted, two 970s is not, a slouch by any mean, but I feel like I could run one 980 and still get 3 monitors. In fact, I'll have to test that. So
you don't feel like it's like micro stutter, and you don't feel like there's a lot of input lag. Like it's just really pushing hard to be graphically accurate.
The only time I felt like the graphics cards were struggling was when I put motion blur to the max, because I thought, well, motion blur might be realistic in terms of, you're driving a fast car. Let's get some motion blur going. But it applied motion blur to areas I didn't think were very realistic. Like only things on the peripheral of the windshield vision should be motion blurred, in my opinion. But it kind of applied it to the entire screen.
Well, you posted a picture to Instagram.
It looked real,
the other
right?
Day, and I'm scrolling through and I looked at it and it looked real, and I had to actually read the caption because I was like, "What the hell is Jay doing with this cool ass car?"
Yeah.
And I realized, and even after clicking it and blowing the image up, it still looked real.
Yeah, it was when I crashed the Evo.
Yeah, the way the front was mashed up and everything. I have never seen any damage model in a game look that realistic.
Oh yeah, the damage effects were amazing. If you put the realism of the game, I accidentally clicked wrong button. If you put the realism all the way to the max, then yeah, I mean we're talking like every aspect of the physics engine are like, okay, you're on your own. Go out there, best of luck. But what's cool is it does have some training modes too, though, where you can, it'll teach you how to drive the car as well. You have your driving lines and stuff, and the driving line adapts to your driving, a lot like Forza. But I feel personally, this is an iRacing replacement for me.
Wow, that's super high praise.
It is high praise, especially considering how much time and how much money I have put into iRacing. The entire sim I built was for iRacing. Now, for me, it's all about Project Cars. And there's a lot of cars and a lot of tracks available. In fact, I'm waiting to see if there's going to be additional download packs that I'd be willing to even pay for. But again, I think we get into the area of licensing issues.
Yeah.
Because that's why it's so expensive for Forza is, they can't just put up a Lamborghini Murcielago on their own free will. They have to pay a Lamborghini for the likeness of the car.
Yeah.
And that's why, wasn't there a $150 car on Forza?
Well, actually, in Forza, a lot of people don't realize this, but you cannot buy a Porsche in Forza 5 Motorsport. You can buy a roof. You can buy like a modified.
Same thing on
Porsche,
Project Cars. There's roof, but no Porsche.
Yeah, Porsche literally told Forza, and it wasn't a money issue. Turn 10 Studios had all the money in the world. It was because Porsche did not want their car in the game because they didn't want it to show damage.
Gotcha.
So, and the same thing happened with Gran Turismo back in the day. Remember how all the cars were like named, like there was a lot of cars that were named kind of slightly off. Same thing with Grand Theft Auto. The cars are all, what they are, right? Like the coil, everybody knows it's a Tesla Roadster. Yeah. And so they do that because the car manufacturers do not want their cars to be photographed or shown damaged, period.
That's weird.
And they get really, really weird about it because they think that that's going to be like bad advertisement for their car if somebody doesn't know how to drive it properly and they're like mashing it up and posting pictures and videos of it.
Yeah.
But it's not that bad anymore, though, because so many companies are doing it now and video games are becoming so prolific. I think they're starting to realize that it's better to have their brand out there and be a selectable car in a game because that's going to drive a sale at some point versus just showing their car beat up and damaged.
So Project Cars, in fact, Coconut Monkey was even talking to me about this the other day. He's like, dude, we should totally get together some friends and do this. They have a legitimate 24 hours of Le Mans race. It takes 24 hours to complete.
No way.
So you could even be having like friends tag in on the simulator and then, catch up on some sleep and get some food and stuff. And it's like, okay, 6 hours later, all right, you're in. It's a real 24-hour race.
Dude, we have to do that at some point. That has to be a live stream.
It would be a lot of fun. It would be a lot of fun. Could you, but that means like, let's say you had 4 people, right? That means each one of you have to do 6 hours.
6 hours of driving. That would be insane. Like
or you break it up,
dead.
or you break it up every 2 hours and you have 3 turns. But still, I mean, I don't know about you, but sometimes after a 45-minute iRacing race, I'm done. I'm ready to get out of the seat.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's the thing that differentiates a simulator from a game. In a simulator, you usually have real consequences because you're competing. You're actually in some kind of a competition, and it's not like you just wreck into a wall and you keep going. It's like you wreck into a wall, you break your car, you have to be towed to the pit, you have to be fixed, and so you're pretty much
or if you're beyond repair, then you get a DNF for that race that affects your license.
Yep, and the thing is those consequences weigh heavily on your mind the entire time you're playing, and that's why when I do iRacing, it's like I can sit down and play like Dirt 07 or Need for Speed. I can just bounce off the walls, hit the turbo, slam into stuff, and laugh. Grand Theft Auto, I've never made it from one point to another without wrecking and running people over and blowing up. But that's the game, right? Yeah. But when you play iRacing, literally just sliding off a corner into the dirt a little bit and almost losing the tail and catching it, your breathing's heavy, you're sweating,
because there's
panic.
Consequences.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so with simulators, you have those consequences. Like I just did a video recently where Tanner Witten showed me how to drive in Dirt Rally, because Dirt Rally is one of the most realistic rally driving simulators like ever made, period. Richard Burns Rally was the king. This is going to dethrone it. But because it's so realistic, I tried to do a lap, and I'm like, I'm laughing because I'm seriously off in the woods, driving into every ditch, flipping the car over.
Yeah.
And I cannot drive this thing to save my life. And it really, really messes with you. You have to like back off. You can't just pin the throttle. Everything has to be like really real finesse on the controls. And you feel a huge sense of accomplishment when you get it right, but you're still scared shitless the whole time and getting worn out.
Yeah, I've started feeling that way here on Project Cars too. It's like, wow, I just did a clean lap.
Well, somebody made the funny comment on that rally video that Tanner looked like he was just pissed, like because he's got a poker face.
Yeah,
and
that's concentration.
Yeah, but people don't realize that's a race car driver mentality. I've met Tanner Faust. He's very, very similar. Bucky Lasik. They're all really, really mellow. Same thing with Formula One drivers, and it's because if they're tense, they're going to wear themselves out instantly. They're never going to be able to finish a race. So when they're behind the wheel, they're straight-faced, relaxed, calm breathing, calm heart rate. Yeah. It's like if you stuck me or you in a Formula One car, we'd go through the first corner, our heart rate would be 200, we'd be sweating, we'd be panicking, we'd be shaking, our foot would be shaking on the pedal, and they don't do that. It's like it's a race car driver.
Was that at the simulator at Dirtfish?
No, this was actually his own simulator. I sold him all my old gear, the Thrustmaster T500 RS with the custom wheel on it,
nice.
My shifter, all that stuff, because I'm switching it all out with the Fanatic gear.
Right.
So I hooked him up with all that, and he took it over and he calibrated it all, went in through all the settings until he got it just right. And then we put me on the simulator, and I sucked horribly.
I bet, especially since it's probably set up for him. You know,
he had to set up like he set it up like the GRC Focus Rally car,
which is a car he's used to.
Exactly, but that was the whole point of this thing, was to set it up like
you know. Now that I have the sim put together and I have the three monitors on it and stuff, I find myself wanting to step up my steering wheel and pedals. Like the G27 is nice, but there's not really much level of realism to it.
You need either a belt driven, like at minimum, or
so it has real feeling feedback.
Yeah. You know what you need to do is you need to contact the AccuForce guys. They were going to send me a wheel at some point, and I just lost touch with them. But AccuForce is creating the first consumer, and by consumer I mean it's still like $1,000, but it's going to be a direct brushless motor drive. So literally it'll feel like exact hydraulic force.
Oh wow!
Like literally, you will not feel it. It'll feel like you're turning a wheel in a real car, and the way that it applies force is purely magnetic.
I imagine too the way it feels when you lose grip on the front would be translated very realistically.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like you can't get any more realistic than this. It's like the most realistic that you can get, and I think it's going to be about $1,000. And that's just for the base. You still have to buy the wheels and everything to attach on it in the quick release. But if you look at it, I mean, it is a bulky motor, dude. The motor is gigantic. The power supply for it is gigantic.
Right.
I mean, it could probably break your wrists if it didn't have safeguards on it.
Yeah.
It's absolutely nuts. And then as far as your pedals, you need to get something with a load cell brake.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's changed
true.
the world for me. Like that's a game changer. Just that one little thing. Even if you modded your G27 and put a load cell on the brake, you would instantly change your whole driving experience.
Regarding the 24-hour of Le Mans, Dammy Killer 37 in chat said it would be perfect for a charity stream. I agree. Like something like
Extra Life for kids.
Extra Life.
Oh, that would be great. Like you get like 4 of your friends, I'll get 4 of my friends, and
we'll dual stream it.
That would be awesome.
It'd be Team Jerry versus Team Jay in 24-hour Le Mans. Screw everyone else. Just who comes in first between Jay and Jerry.
You know what would be hilarious though is I would totally cheat my ass off. I'd go get Tanner Whitman, who's like an expert level.
You're like, okay, I'm getting 4 of my friends from Dirtfish.
I would too. I'd go get Nate. Because the funny thing is almost all the Dirtfish instructors come from Road Circuit. They've got a NASCAR driver guy. They got some guys that did touring car championship. I'll just get all those guys to come over.
Jeez.
It'd be funny because like literally I'll just go first and I'll be down like 20 laps, and then while I'm sleeping I'll just wake up and they'll all be in first place.
Oh, where are we, guys? Oh, hey, we won. Cool. Good job, team.
That would be hilarious.
Jerry, what did you do? Crew chief.
Oh, that would be hilarious, man. That would make the best live stream ever.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh God, guys, I'm getting tired. Next guy tag in. Tanner Faust jumps in the seat.
Jerry, how the fuck did you get Jeff Gordon?
Oh, that would be funny. That would be hilarious.
All right, guys, we're tagging in Coconut Monkey. Go, and he crashed.
He drives a Volkswagen.
Close enough. Oh man.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, I plan on doing. You know what's funny is one of okay, so the owner of Red Mist.
Yep.
He's friends with a guy that's very well off financially. Let's just say he has a fully race ready, completely track built, I think GT3, Porsche GT3. He's got two, I think it's two Lambo Murcielagos and a Ferrari, I think California.
Jesus.
Just because. And I put up some pictures of like the sim rig I was building, and apparently those two were talking the other day. This guy has a vineyard in his backyard in Malibu, if you want to just have an idea of the type of money we're talking about. So they were talking the other day, and he showed him a picture of the sim rig I was building, which is fairly budget rig, right? And apparently this friend was like, hey, talk to him and see if he's interested in building me a race rig, because he's becoming older and more mature, and he's afraid to drive his cars like crazy anymore. So I asked him, he asked me apparently like to ask me how much I thought it would cost. I'm like, knowing this guy and the level of stuff that he would want, we might be doing like a balls out, just limitless race rig that I built for this guy in his house.
What you need to do is you need to build them. There's a race rig going around on YouTube where a guy took and cut a projector screen, and he literally put the projector screen, like he cut out his cockpit around it so that the projector screen is like 2 feet in front of his face.
Right.
And it's cut out around the simulator, and then he has a projector behind it, rear projection towards him.
Yeah.
So, and he positioned it so literally all the gauge clusters and iRacing and everything are literally right on his wheel,
where they
just
would
like
be.
if he was in the real car. The steering
Right.
column's perfectly aligned, and I was like, God, that would be cool. But with this guy, if you're spending like $50,000, you could do like a 4K projector. So even though he was sitting like 2 inches away, it'd still be razor sharp.
Yeah.
Oh God,
But
that'd be cool to have a limitless budget to build a sim.
Yeah, that's what apparently. I was like, well, the guy doesn't want to wreck his $2 million worth of inventory of cars or whatever.
I don't blame him.
Like the GT3, I think with all the race mods he has done to it, it's a legitimate track ready car, like one of those, Grand Prix style, like.
Oh,
cars.
GT3's right off the showroom floor or a track car. Total track.
Well, this one apparently is completely built on top of that. He has pictures of it. He sent me pictures of it. I think that alone is probably pushing 300, 400K easily. So he doesn't want to wreck his cars, and I'm gonna be like, well, what's 10K or 15K to a?
Well, you said he had two Murcielagos, right?
Something like that. They're two different colors. Like one of them is a weird, like it looks like a Hot Wheels car almost. It's like kind of a blue and an orange sort of color.
Ask him if you can take one of them and just beer can it out and put a simulator in it.
I know, right? Let's just gut one.
Yeah. Just tell him you want to duct tape a 80-inch 4K plasma screen or something on the hood.
Yeah,
and just sit inside and drive.
I think it would be fun. So I'm gonna start researching, and we'd have to turn this into like a video.
It'd be a killer video, dude. Like build like a limitless budget simulator. Like, yeah, we're gonna put this on a hydraulic motion platform.
I hate building things like that for other people, because then I come home and I'm like, oh.
Your G27's going
calibrating every time I turn on the PC.
And then you go play the guy in iRacing and he just kicks your ass like every single day and he sucks at it.
Yeah.
Oh. That's cool though.
One of the other topics I wanted to talk about. Now, this is the type of blocker I can get behind, and you yourself agreed.
Oh yeah.
And it's also the title of today's video. This is the KarBlocker. Now, this is actually in progress right now. It's going to be a browser extension for all your popular browsers. Well, it will basically identify and remove any sort of picture, ad, promo, or news article involving anything from the Kardashians. So it's called the KarBlocker.
And you said there's another good blocker too, right?
Oh yeah, they're working on the bee blocker, so they
bee
can block
blocker.
the Biebs. Anything Justin Bieber related gets completely and utterly wiped off of your browser for the internet.
That would be amazing. See, now I hate ad blocker, but that's a blocker I can get behind. That is definitely a good blocker right there, guys. I recommend both of those blockers. Whoever's making them, you should go give them a little donation.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is there's actually already a plugin available for Chrome and Firefox called Grease Monkey. Have you heard of it?
I don't think so.
So Grease Monkey is a plugin that basically creates a scripting language on top of your browser. So it makes it easier to make other plugins. Like there's a lot of plugins that are based on Grease Monkey. And it basically exposes like all the HTML, the images, everything from the page so that the user can easily write things to block or change them.
Yeah.
It's basically like a middle rendering engine. So it loads the HTML, then you modify it, and then it actually loads it in the browser. And so you can do cool things in Grease Monkey, like if you find a JPEG, replace it with a picture of a cat. And so every JPEG now becomes a picture of a cat. You can write little scripts. So there's all these people that have written these scripts that fundamentally change what pages look like. You can even load a Grease Monkey script for YouTube that'll make it look like a theater and draw speakers and stuff around it's like a theme that it'll apply to it. And I was just thinking with Grease Monkey, it'd be really easy to do one of these like Kardashian blockers or something like that. So I'm curious if they're using Grease Monkey.
Well, yeah, especially since everything has some SEO because they want it to be found. So it'd be easy to identify.
Yeah, just anywhere you see the word Kardashian or the image contains Kardashian, or maybe even do some image recognition, that would be hot. If they actually do image recognition, like if the ass is a certain size above normal, it runs a couple other checks just to make sure it's a Kardashian, but it's like 90% sure, then just blocks it out.
Yeah, it's like I would even be willing to take it a step farther and be like, you know what, let's just block anything with the word Kim and Chloe in it as well. Because I'm sorry, all the legitimate people named Kim and Chloe, it was worth blocking you to make sure I got the right two.
What's the third sister's name? There's Chloe
the unpopular one. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's why nobody knows her name.
Jenner's daughters.
I don't know, the one who started the whole stupid like lip thing.
Yeah, and now I guess they're trying to trademark their names, like their first names.
Really?
Like
so everyone named Kim and Chloe and
it wasn't Kim and
Juju
Chloe. It was the two
is.
younger ones. But yeah, they literally wanted to trademark their first names.
Wow, it's like the next generation of Kardashians are even more brazen than the first.
Yeah, just so you guys know, I'm trademarking Jerry. Jerry is trademarked. So if your name is Jerry, you need to cease and desist immediately.
John Doe says replace Kanye with the donkey from Shrek. I saw a meme going around after the Mayweather fight that I thought was hilarious, and it was a meme of Kanye basically saying, "Yeah, the fight was good, but it still should have gone to Beyonce."
That'd be a good one. Oh my god.
So
another topic that I wanted to bring up, because we saved 3D printing for last, because you guys know how I do go on.
Oh dear God.
So anyways, this one I'm actually going to give out to Deus Kane. He was the one from Tech Syndicate. He was the one that brought this up on Twitter and got me interested, and I went and did a little research on it. But some guys over at Instructables created something called an OpenSCAD file. Now, for you guys that don't know what OpenSCAD is, it's basically a way of creating 3D models with math. It's like a language where you script your 3D model, and then it builds the 3D model from all the mathematics that you put in your scripting. Well, some guy created this fully functional key. You can actually go in and take the number off of your lock. So, and it's only 2 locks right now, but they're expanding. If you have a Quickset KW1 or a Schlage, what is it? Slag? So a Slag SC1.
I'm showing the video right now.
Yeah, if you have one of those 2 locks, you can actually go into this OpenSCAD file, put the number. So you don't even have to have the key to the lock. You just have to have the little number that's written on the lock. You put it in, it will give you an OpenSCAD 3D model that you can then print out on any desktop 3D printer, and it works.
But what kind of security does this pose?
This is the worst security ever. This is saying that basically if you walk up to a building, like an office building,
and just get the number off the tumbler
or a Slag lock, you can just take that number, go home, print it, go back there and open the door and just walk in.
Oh, you know what I love is the fact that when this video ends, the recommended videos that pop up of the 4, 2 of them are yours.
It's because I use a Kardashian on all my tags, Jay.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. But now the CardBlocker's coming out. I'm gonna have to do it backwards, Kardashian backwards, or K_A.
Yeah, I was watching this. And I didn't read the notes you put in the doc. I was just watching and was trying to come up with some raw responses to it. And I couldn't help but think like this is the worst possible idea in terms of just business and home security ever.
And here's the part that I don't get. So just so you guys know, if you lose your key, like let's say you lose your key to your car, you have to call the manufacturer and prove to that manufacturer that you own that car before they'll send you a spare key. Same thing with these locks. If you go buy one of these Quickset or Slag locks and you want to get into your house because you lost your key, you have to basically prove with a receipt that you purchased that lock belongs to you, and then they will give the code to a locksmith to basically recreate the key.
Right. And these are the higher end locks, by the way, guys. Exactly. Not like the ones you go down to Home Depot and buy off a hanging rack.
Yeah, these are probably the majority. These are probably the 80% majority of locks that are used by like businesses and homes now.
Yep.
And so now what happens is if you're a locksmith, for you to recreate that key from the code, you're basically like a doctor. You're under ethics to not create those keys unless you're given permission, which isn't a foolproof thing. There's dirty locksmiths out there that'll sell keys and stuff like that.
And not to mention, a lot of locksmiths are reformed like burglars and stuff.
No, that's true. That's true. A lot of safe crackers and stuff actually do have a history. That's why they get into it. Yeah. But the thing is that requires you to at least go to somebody, pay them money, find a dirty person and hope they're not a cop that's going to sting you, and go through all these hoops to get a key, which by the end of the day, you're probably just going to bust out your high explosives and blow the door off the hinges. But still, being able to just download this file and go and look at a number on your neighbor's lock, or go look at a number on a business and just go 3D print this damn thing. Hell, you could even take a 3D printer in your car, plug it into an inverter, and because the key is so small, you could probably print the thing on an Ultimaker in like 7 minutes.
Dude, so two things. One, Glitch in chat says, buy a blank key, buy a cheap file, and do a quick Google search, and the numbers tell you how and where to make each cut. Stupid simple. The thing with that is, it's not guaranteed to work. This is guaranteed to work, because the printer isn't going to mess up like you would with a file.
And those are shitty locks. Like actual locks, I mean, you're talking hundreds of a millimeter prevent that tumbler from being activated.
The other thing is, too, even if all of the peaks and valleys or whatever on the keys are not proper, the key still enters the lock. So I also look at this as being a crazy easy prank or vandalism that would kind of suck too. One, stick it in, break it off. It wouldn't be hard. Or even stick it in the key and then take like a heat gun or something and melt it in there. You completely destroy someone's lock.
Here's Jayz2Cents on how to like sabotage all your neighbor's lock. We're gonna see in the news tomorrow now that like an entire block, somebody ran around with a heat gun and UPS and.
No, I mean, think about it though. Like, I personally wouldn't want to print a key just to say for my own use, because I don't know about you, but sometimes locks get a little bit hard to turn over time, and that's all I would want is one of those printed keys to bust off in there, which wouldn't be too hard. I would only
print it in ABS. I wouldn't try to print it in PLA or like a brittle plastic. It would have to be something that would bend long before it break.
But aren't there metal 3D printers now?
No, there are, but they're not consumer accessible. I mean, the cheapest metal printer that you can get right now is probably $1 million, and that's one that actually uses a high intensity laser to like liquefy metal dust. So they're Shapeways has one,
and next year it'll be $48.
That'd be funny. Now, here's what you guys do: is you just go and get this open SCAD file, you put in the code of the lock that you want, and then you send that 3D file to Shapeways and say, "Hey guys, can you print me up some of my artistic renditions of this key?" And they're not going to realize it's a real key.
You know what kind of sucks about
titanium.
You know what kind of sucks about, like, say the bike racks and stuff. Like, my bike rack on my car is a Thule.
Yeah.
And you have to buy the keys and the key cores to make the locking mechanism work. But on the face of the key, or the tumbler, the whole core is the number for that lock. So if someone wanted to like steal bikes off of a bike rack or steal the rack itself, all they would do is start collecting up all these different keys and then just match the number, because the number to the lock is also etched on the key itself.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is a lot of people don't realize that in the 60s and 70s that a lot of cars actually used the same key for like almost all the cars.
Yeah.
Like my mom had a 1976 Chrysler Cordoba with fine Corinthian leather. Don't forget that fact. And I remember once I went to a grocery store. This isn't a joke, guys. This literally happened. I went to a grocery store. It was Albertsons in Kitsap County, Washington. It's just I want to really, really set the area here. And I come out of the store and I go and I forgot where the car was parked. So I'm looking around for the car and I see another red Chrysler Cordoba. I assume it's mine. I walk up, put the key in, actually unlock the door, get in and put the key in the ignition before I finally look up and see that it's got a dash cover in it that my mom's car didn't have. And I was like, oh shit. And I immediately got out of the car and locked the door and went and looked for the car. But literally outside, it was the same car, the same color, and the key unlocked the door. That freaked me out. Like, so I'm sure that's not the case nowadays, but there's obviously only so many permutations of keys that were available back then. So a lot of them were reused.
You know, what's funny is, think about how many like wireless alarm remotes there are for cars these days. Yes. And there's only so many different frequencies that are allowed to be used for, the FCC to allow these manufacturers to utilize bandwidth for these remote controls.
Right.
I keep wondering if there's ever going to be a day where I'm going to go to unlock my car and like 3 cars down unlocks as well. You know what I mean? I mean, you would imagine it could happen.
Here's the nice thing about the car alarm scenario, though, is it's not so much about the frequency as it is about the encryption used by each system. So each system has a private key and a public key to so even though the data is being transacted wirelessly,
Right.
each car brain has a truly unique number that it's only going to.
Oh, well, that's good. Okay. So if it encrypts itself internally, then yeah, the likelihood of there being
Exactly. Then one
is
frequency
so
can
rare.
be used. That's how everybody can walk around with Bluetooth and be on the exact same frequency and not be crossing up each other's signals. But here's the interesting thing: is even just 10 years ago, garage doors didn't use encrypted signals. At least the cheap ones didn't. So there was a lot of guys that would go build these little Radio Shack boxes. I can't remember what they're called, but you could spend like $10 in parts in Radio Shack, and you build this little box, and what it does is it just listens for that radio frequency, because it's not even sending a code to do something. It's literally just pulsing a frequency. And the door would open, and those frequencies would be slightly different for each door. And there was only so many frequencies. So these guys would drive around neighborhoods and just wait for people to open their garage door, and they would have the code. And then they could just literally play it back. They didn't have to do anything. They just basically said rebroadcast that same code it just recorded, and the garage door would open up. And so nowadays, everything
isn't that a scene from Gone in 60 Seconds?
It is actually, and no, but it's legit. You can actually go look it up. And another cool thing was, remember Atari 2600s? They actually had a wireless joystick, and the wireless joystick actually became wildly unpopular and didn't sell well because if you moved the joystick in a certain way, the frequency that it generated would actually open up like your neighbor's garage doors and stuff.
That's hilarious.
They used a frequency range that interrupted like common frequencies that were used for garage doors. So it never really became popular and didn't sell well because
that was probably that 800 megahertz frequency range, because like back then and even up until like the early 2000s, everything was on the 800 megahertz range.
Yeah, and it kind of makes you wonder, how long do you think it took them to figure out that was the cause? Like their kids in there playing Pong in the garage doors, like murr, 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 and it's the neighbor's door like two doors down. That'd be hilarious.
Oh boy. All right, well we got 40 minutes left in this podcast, and we've used up all of our topics, so now it's time to crowdsource the topics.
Ooh, crowdsource topics. All right, I'm on it, Jay.
Thank you.
And hit up the old Ask Tech Talk. And guys, if you would like to take a minute to hit that like button down below if you're enjoying the stream, it helps Jay and I out a lot, because if we don't get like 10,000 likes on each one of these, we actually go and hit each other with leather whips right the stream. So as much as you guys would love to see that, it hurts us deeply.
Yeah, but you like it too. So.
Okay, well, I do like the first 2 or 3, but then it gets a little redundant. All right, so we have, let's see, Giving TNT, Ask Tech Talk, best thing since bat knife.
Bat fork?
Bat fork? Bat spoon? Bat silverware?
Bat fork.
No, well, the thing is until bat knife existed, like nothing was even remotely in the same greatness territory. So I'm going to say everything was best before bat knife. Let's see here.
Bat knife evolved though. You didn't. It's not like the first time bat knife ever made an appearance. You were doing the no bat knife. It was just, you were just like bat knife, and then that was it. Yep. And then over time, it like evolved.
It evolved. Bat knife like evoked those things out of me. Like those things wouldn't exist without bat knife. Even like, look, I'm even wearing the shirt right now. No, bat knife. Let's see here. Okay, so Quinn Dickinson asked thoughts on the event in Baltimore. Guys, we try to avoid things that are of a political nature on this live stream because people have wildly different opinions about things, including us.
There's no fairness in talking about fairness, people.
There's no fairness in talking about fairness. But in a nutshell, I think it's safe to say that we all agree that things need to change. I'm not going to go anything on that.
I'll take it one step further and say things need to change on both sides, both the government and the people.
I completely agree. So hopefully some good comes from that situation, but it's sad. Let's see. Ooh, this is a good one. Ask Tech Talk. What are your opinions on the Apple Watch? And do you think the launch was a flop? Well, obviously, actually, you know what, Jay? You take it. You take this one.
I don't wear watches. I don't care.
All right, so Jay's a dickhole. All right, I'm fielding this one, guys.
I just want to I want to refer people to about 6 episodes ago, maybe 5 episodes ago of Tech Talk, where we were doing like the dramatic readings of the news, and you were reading how somebody said like the gold Apple Watch is a built-in douchebag detector because anyone wearing it is broadcasting to the world what a douchebag they are for having it.
I spent $10,000 just for a different colored watch.
For the mainstream ones, like the $300 ones or whatever. Same thing with like the G-Watch R and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. I've been debating getting a smartwatch just to kind of mess around with, but I don't like wearing watches, period. So I don't take much interest in that tech.
Fair enough. Okay, so guys, my opinion on the Apple Watch. Okay, so first let me address, was it a flop? or no, was the launch a flop? No, the launch was not a flop because Apple seriously could have just come out on stage and flung poo at the audience, and they still would have sold every single Apple Watch in existence for the next 3 months.
Yeah.
And the fact is, the only Apple Watch I think you can even get your hands on right now without going behind the scenes and paying a huge, premium to the scalpers is the one that has like the blue bands. For some reason, I guess that one didn't sell that well. I know somebody told me that. They're like, hey, if you want an Apple Watch, just get the one with the blue band. And I bet you those are probably even sold out now because this is just a couple days after it went live. But I'll be honest, I do want an Apple Watch. And I'll tell you why. Because I love watches, and I got a Pebble. And the Pebble was the biggest steaming piece of shit I ever had. Not because if it had worked correctly, I would have liked it. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying that the quality control on the first run of Pebbles was so horrendously bad that it like killed smartwatches for me. Like I never wanted another smartwatch after that.
So now your first impression was so bad.
Exactly. First impression's dead on smartwatch technology. But the Apple Watch changed a couple things, and that is Chris Perillo got one.
Apparently we have gardeners.
And, Jay is a Californian, and they do tend to mow things down there. Lord knows why, because you can't water anything right now, so I'm surprised it's even growing.
He's out there, like, cutting the weeds.
He's out there just stirring up the dust. He's creating a dust ball right now.
No, our gardeners normally come Friday mornings. I don't know why he's here on Thursday afternoon.
It's probably a chainsaw going through somebody's wall right now to steal their television.
Yeah, probably.
Jay lives in a rough neighborhood, wink. No,
TJ5K, TJ9K says, I hate Apple, Appel. Sir, we can't take you serious if you can't spell Apple.
Spell Apple, then,
Well, sir, that's because you bought the off-brand.
Hey, me correcting people's spelling is like the pot calling the kettle black, for sure. But anyways, with the Apple Watch, the thing that kind of redeemed it for me is a lot of my friends got it, and they said that the battery life actually wasn't as bad as everybody was expecting. So, and we were expecting pretty bad battery life, because let's be honest, I mean, Apple's usually got really high-powered displays and everything like that. But the thing is, it doesn't really serve that much of a purpose beyond just giving you, like, your text messages.
Yeah, notification center.
Yeah, in the notification center, and it's basically not doing anything that your phone can't do. But at the same time, the screen on it is absolutely gorgeous. You can tell the time looking at your wrist, and I honestly do like being able to, while I'm driving and stuff
Did
like
you
that.
just say a perk is you can tell the time by looking at your wrist?
Time looking at my wrist. Okay, I did say that. I know that this has been something around for literally hundreds of years, but guys, I haven't used it in a long time. My
sundial on the wrist. Oh,
exactly. Okay, guys.
Cutting edge tech.
Okay, that was probably the most stupid thing that I've said in a very, very long time. But anyways, guys, I do like watches. And I do like the fact that when I'm driving, I can just turn my wrist and glance at it and see if I have messages. Because us fatter gentlemen, Jay wouldn't understand because he's a skinny person now. But us fat people, to get into our pocket while we're driving a car, especially if you have performance seats to get your phone out, is seriously like playing those little claw games at the arcade. Where you never get anything. You're seriously just fishing in your pocket. I mean, it seriously looks like you're masturbating while you're driving down the road trying to get your phone out of your pocket.
Shannon Robb says, tell Jay he sucks and I need to talk to him.
Oh, you remember?
Yeah, I know who he is. It's like, why is he in chat?
Hey, we should have him on. You want to have him on next week?
If you guys want to know one of the worst cases in history, God, the Thermaltake X9 is a pile of crap.
Such a piece of shit.
Jeez, I can't wait to do a review on that one and just sit on it.
Oh my God! You should make like a little. You should make a shelf like bolted to the wall and put like canned soup and stuff in it. That'd be awesome. Make the door swing open.
Hey guys, I found a new place to stock my beer.
Don't worry, Shannon. We're gonna have you on the show. We need to get Biggins on here too. That'd be pretty funny.
No.
So we could recap his whole live raping experience of you down at PDX.
We have a few fans and followers that are going to be up in PDX in November for their first time.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm going to go on record right now and say out of all the events I've attended, and I've attended a lot. I've done more traveling in 2014 than I in 2015 even than I have in my entire life. It's crazy. But the event that I absolutely love the most is PDX Land. If you guys have an opportunity to go to PDX Land, do it.
It was fun.
It's literally just run around in your pajamas, eating pizza and playing video games. Like
not for me, it wasn't.
What's that?
Not for me, it wasn't.
Oh, poor Jay. That was right around the time that Jay was like,
that was really like I was 1 month into like lifestyle change on that one. I was in the process of turning into a hermaphrodite.
Jay, do you? I shouldn't even ask if you remember because I'm sure you probably dream about this these days. But do you remember when the door rang and that pizza came through that door? And then just that smell of that pizza, I could see you like salivating. You were like, I have not had pizza in like a month. And then you were like, you had like one slice, and then you were like, "Ah, screw it, it's cheat day." And then you had like 2 slices, and I'm over there eating the other 16 slices, and you're just like, "Oh."
Yeah, but what happened after the second slice? I got sick.
You did. You actually were feeling like crap, and then I started feeling like crap after about the 12th or 13th slice. I was seriously just sitting there hoovering that pizza down because I was afraid, guys. Honestly, I was afraid that Jay was going to drop his diet and start
Look, Jerry
so I
was
figured I'd do him a favor if I just ate.
Jerry was taking one for the team and decided to eat almost all of a thin crust meat lovers, extra cheese, extra sauce.
It was a big pizza.
It was like the size of a hood of a car.
And you probably remember because you were sleeping, but when I came back from the LAN, it was, I think you came back like an hour earlier than me.
Oh, cold pizza.
I opened up the box and I'm just over there eating cold pizza in my bed. I'm like, nom, 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 nom. Well, Jay's just sitting over there sleeping.
You're sitting there looking at it like, that's how much I love you.
Jay just wakes up and the pizza box is just empty. There's just like little scraps of melted cheese.
There's little bacon bits all over the bed.
Oh my god!
No, PDX was actually so much fun. For November, I've decided the only way to do it right is to literally load up the car with Skunkworks and my ROG monitor and my chair and all that, and I'm road tripping from Southern California to Portland, Oregon for that.
It's gonna be awesome, dude. It's gonna be awesome. And guys, I'm gonna be road tripping like a 3-hour drive south of me.
It's only 18 or 16 hours for me, normally.
Only 16 hours for you. It's like a 3-hour drive for me if I'm driving like a grandma. But
you
but
have
guys,
to drive
I will be at the next PDX LAN, and I will have William with me. My
so you're gonna go in July and November, right?
Yes.
Go.
Yes.
I'm debating going in July just to go, but not bring my system.
I might even attend a Vector LAN too. I've been kind of debating going to one of the Vector LANs, the 21 and over.
Yeah.
Because I thought it'd be kind of fun to see what
this one has all the beers and stuff.
When he gets a keg in him.
That's the one that Ed from Sapphire was talking about.
Yeah. And they said that they like just have like a whole buffet table full of cereal and shit that you can't eat.
Yeah. Well, I can eat that stuff if I bring my bike with me.
We're gonna have an asparagus bowl just for you.
An asparagus bar.
The asparagus bar.
All different types of
include
asparagus.
A little packet of salt and some water, driblets.
Ooh, that sounds like my kind of party.
That'd be funny though if you did bring your bike. I'm like, hey, where's Jay at? He's doing 50 laps. He ate a bowl of cereal. He's outside doing 50 laps around the building.
Only 50?
No, it's fun though, guys. Seriously, if you're going to PDX LAN, let us know.
Yosef, whatever on there was like, he said, "These nuts." I'm thinking of that guy that was like, got him. You haven't seen that guy?
No.
Oh god, he's hilarious. It's like a meme that's been making its way around.
So you ready for some more questions there, boss?
Yeah, go. I gotta respond to an SMS real quick.
All right, so William S. asks Tech Talk, Barnacles, if I was starting to apply for my first job in programming, where should I start working at? A big company or a small company? So that's actually a pretty good question. It really depends on what you want to do. One thing that I found is that small companies are going to be are not going to have as many applications to go through. So you usually have a better chance of interviewing at a small company and getting before somebody to show your skills. And but with a big company, as long as your resume is really impressive, you will move to the top of the file very, very easily. And one of the things I recommend to everybody if you're interviewing for an IT position is you want to not only show what you know, but you also want to show that you're passionate for that job. It's not just a job for you. So the way that I did that with Microsoft even 15 years ago, it still translates well today, is go out and create programs, make open source programs, publish them publicly under open licenses, put your source code out there and create things. Even if it's like little things that you're only ever going to use, put that stuff out there and include it all in your LinkedIn profile and a link to that site with all of that information on your resume. Because companies look at that and they're like, wow, this guy literally just eats, breathes, and shits code. They're going to want to hire you.
Yeah. Well, coming in there as a self-taught person with a portfolio that you can show holds way more water than coming in there with a degree and nothing to show for it.
No, it's absolutely true.
I think
trumps everything.
I think what a lot of people don't realize too is, even in MIT, which is where the company I left was based out of, their computer science degrees do not go into coding specifics or details. Computer science, even programming degrees, do not go into programming detail. They teach you the theory, and then you have to take it and you have to create something with the theory. And it's up to you also too, as the language artist and the programmer, to make the programs that utilize these languages. So you kind of taught the basics, and then you have to go with it. If you walk in there literally with just a computer science degree with a major in programming, that doesn't mean you're a programmer or you're a good programmer. So they're not going to hire you based on simply saying I have a degree or a bachelor's degree in computer science. That really doesn't mean anything these days.
Yeah, another reason why they do that specifically in the education space is because you will find that development environments, company to company, vary huge. I mean, you're not going to go to Microsoft and then like the next day go to Google and be using any of the same languages. You're not going to be using any of the same compilers, any of the same code repositories and things like that. So you have to be very, very agile. But what it shows when you write your own code and everything is that you do have a specific skill set and a passion for doing something. And then if you want to show diversity, go write yourself a program for Linux and GCC compile it for the modules and stuff in that Linux distribution. Do the same thing for, a BSD distribution. Go over and do the same thing for Windows, same thing for Apple OS X. Go create an Objective-C program. You don't have to be an expert in all these languages, but you do want to demonstrate that you know enough about the fundamentals that it's easy for you to pick any up.
Now,
it's okay. We only lost like 2,000 people.
Everyone's always getting swatted.
They did too. We went down to 264 watchers. We lost like 1,800 people.
No, that's fine. We'll just tweet out that we're live again.
Yeah,
oh my God, we're back.
We're back.
So what's funny is literally now on the replay, for the people watching the replay, it's going to go from like you mid-sentence to just, and you're like, and when you're doing these programmings and with Linux and stuff, and we're back.
I completely lost my train of thought through that. So I think I was telling people how to get jobs at big companies and how they should actually just go write code, make it public, and put it on their resumes.
That's unimportant.
The only thing that sucks about doing that, and this is something that you and I actually deal with a little bit in this industry, is if you go publish things publicly like your code and stuff, expect people to pick it up and resell it as their own and rebrand it as their own. And there's going to be people out there pushing resumes claiming that they took your work. So be diligent about keeping an eye out for people doing that if you have code out there, or any media for that matter, like anything you do.
Yeah.
I have to flag probably 5 to 6 videos a week on YouTube where people just copy my videos verbatim and upload them as their own.
Well, especially when you're doing something that's knowledge-based like that, because they want to be smart too.
I know. I kind of
smart.
I feel bad for flagging them now. Not really.
SMRT.
Not really.
Anyway, I just tweeted out that we're back, guys. Sorry, XSplit, which I know you guys are like, oh, get OBS is better, OBS. Blah, blah.
Just admit it. You were getting DDoS attacked hard, and I saved you. I did a counterattack and saved you.
Oh, yeah. Well, did you get to the trash file?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, cool.
And I unshadowed the password file, and I hacked in through root. And
perfect.
Ooh, I used like Linux terminology there. That was like flashback.
You said root.
I am root.
I am root.
Dude, dude. Oh, that's a t-shirt right there. Hashtag I am root.
I am root. And you have the little Android underneath it?
Yeah, I'm doing it. I am root. Guys, don't steal my t-shirt idea. I bet there's like 5 people right now up on Cafe Press, like making that. Dude, that's a good one. What was another? I had another cool idea for a t-shirt this morning too that involved a poop nap.
How about one that just had 2 like pasties where your nipples would be?
Someone tells me that one's probably been done before. I like I am root though. I am root would be like a really good one. It's like root with glasses on.
Everyone's saying that your voice track is off. It's been that way since the inception of Skype, guys. I can't help it.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry if I look like a bad Bruce Lee movie.
I can't.
Hello, I am going to talk to you about things on the internet.
That was probably even funnier considering it was off track.
Back to the questions, Jay.
Yeah.
We got to get back to the questions.
All
right.
We're live.
So Noah Page asked TechTalk, what is better than liquid cooling? Or what is better when liquid cooling? Distilled water or coolant? Jay.
Coolant is going to have growth inhibitors in there to keep algae from growing.
And electrolytes.
Ooh.
It's what plants crave.
And it's going to have anti-corrosive properties to it. So it's going to be better when possible. I need to close these blinds. This is way too bright.
Well, Jay, let me ask you a little bit of a follow-up question on that. So you get those properties from having coolant as far as longevity of the fluid, but is distilled water better for heat transfer, or are they both equally good?
You know what's funny is I used to be one of those people that regurgitated that piece of information, having never tested it myself, like years ago. I used to always be like, no, distilled water is way better. And I never tested it. You know, like 99% of the people that repeat things that they hear but never try. And one day when I finally went to the nanofluid, it was amazing how the temperatures weren't any better, but the temperatures across the cores were closer together. So with distilled water, this was on AMD, by the way. With distilled water, I was getting like 5, 6, 7 C swing between cores. On AMD, that's quite a bit. That's always going to be the case on Intel, by the way, guys, no matter what you do. But AMD has always been closer in terms of temperatures across the cores.
Yeah.
Once I went to the nanofluid, it was like 1 C difference across all 8 cores. So it was at that point I actually asked the guys over at Dragon Ice. I said, "What is going on here?" And it just has to do with the stability of the fluid. So I guess I don't know. I mean, I personally don't use distilled water with biocide anymore, or a silver coil or kill coil. Ever since I personally tried it out and found that I had better stable temps.
Interesting. Well, I'd imagine that, water, of course, is great for heat transfer, but I'd have to imagine that there's ways to engineer a better heat transferring liquid than just water. And I'd have to imagine the people that are creating these coolants are attempting to do just that. Or at least get as many properties as they can.
Here comes the lawnmower.
Oh.
Guys, I'm trying to work here!
Just open up the window and start screaming. I'd be like, I'm broadcasting.
God!
Here.
This is a place of business!
Oh my god, it reminds me of that PewDiePie video.
He's gonna be like,
dude
okay,
was
man,
mowing
mow
his
your own lawn.
Like, so PewDiePie did a video this years ago where he's like sitting there on the live stream and all you hear in the background is I mean, the dude was like literally like weed eating right outside his window. And he just puts the microphone away and just starts screaming at the top. I was like, do you have to do that now? Why now? You never mow your lawn. Ever. You never. You just start flipping out. And then you hear the mower go. And he's like, thank you.
Oh, jeez.
It was pretty funny. It was just timing. Like, you could totally tell the guy couldn't hear him with the mower running.
Everyone's on my ears. Sorry, guys. It had to be done. Okay?
It had to. You guys got to understand that sometimes to get a point across, you have to actually, do the thing. At least I'm not banging on the desk. That's a Chris Brillo trick. Let's see here. So Deep, we'll just call him @Chowdy here on Twitter, asks both of us, do you ever see cellular providers switching to a bandwidth-based pay scale instead of a data-based?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think so either. It doesn't make a lot of sense, because the thing is, if you go with a bandwidth-based scale, you have to assume that they're down
this must be done.
maximum speed all the time. What?
Hey! I'm working!
Oh.
Even the dog started barking in the neighbor's yard.
Oh my god! That's awesome.
That guy's still going.
Now you're gonna hear pew 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 pew.
We have rocks flying up in my window.
Let's see. Lincoln J @Caddies83 asks, Jerry, can you request? Oh, he's requesting a review of the Motion Pro 2 racing simulator from CXC Simulations, please. He wants me to review a motion simulator. That sounds expensive. Lincoln, I'm gonna check.
Hold on while the guy mows our dirt.
Yeah, I'm thinking, Lincoln, well, I'm going to check, but I'm just guessing that since it's a full motion simulator, it's probably a little above my pay grade at this point, and I probably have to get into simulator just a little bit more before companies are willing to send me a giant motion platform.
Yeah, you'd have to be more of like a racing sim channel to get that
Exactly.
sort of stuff.
Yeah, I'd have to be like, God, what is that? Sim racing? I feel like such a noob not remembering now. It's like sim... I want to give them a plug because they absolutely are cool guys. Yeah, Inside Sim Racing. @Inside Sim Racing on Twitter. Those guys are awesome.
What?
Actually in Washington, too.
Huh?
What?
I can't hear you over the lawnmower.
I don't even hear the lawnmower anymore, dude.
Oh, well, that's because it's a rear-facing mic. I guess that means the stream can't hear it.
Nope,
I'm sure they can hear it.
I heard it right there.
Oh, but if this guy's going to show up at the same time on Thursday, I'm going to have a polite conversation with him.
Dude, when you leaned back, your shirt looked like it said "got racist." I had to look closer because the little
No,
cord
it says "got precast." It's actually a sweater given to me by a friend. Well, actually, it was given to the wife by a friend. That's his company. He works for some precast company. The reason why I'm wearing this sweatshirt is, one, it got cold and rainy today in California. So it's like we have 3 days of rain a year, so this is one of them for the year. This is a 1X sweater, and I haven't been a 1X since a junior in high school. So all my sweatshirts are too big. So I actually stole this from the wife because he gave it to her, and it's way too big for her, so I've been wearing it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. The way it was crinkled, like it was crinkled just right. It looked like it just said "got racist." And I was like, oh my God. What are you doing, Jay? Okay, so let's get back to some questions. We got Jamie Hoffer. asks, "Oh, should you?" Okay, this is a good one. You should discuss Rockstar banning people using single-player mods in GTA 5.
That's irrelevant. They already put out an article today stating they are not going to ban people for single-player mods.
Damn straight they're not gonna, because seriously, they would
actually.
Have
It was within the last. It was within the last 2 hours or so that I saw that they publicly stated they will not ban people for single-player mods.
Did they ever ban people? Because I saw a lot of people on a couple of the DLs on Facebook complaining that they got banned, never going online.
I don't know, to be honest with you.
I guess I don't have enough information either. But that would have been a horrible, horrible thing. And this is one thing that I am gonna diss on them. Don't get me wrong, GTA 5, and I mean this when I say this, is probably like currently the absolute apex of gaming perfection. It literally is the most sandboxy game I've ever played, like in my entire life. It runs very, very well. I haven't had any crashes. The thing is amazing. I mean, Jay, would you agree that GTA 5 is a pretty damn magnificent game?
Oh yeah, I spent more hours on GTA 5 the first night than I have in all of Battlefield Hardline.
Yeah, even compared to the console. Like, I almost didn't buy it for PC because I already had the console version. And I was like, oh, it can't be that much better. No, wrong. It absolutely is that much better.
I think there's a deeper level of immersion in the PC.
Oh, absolutely. Like the view distance, the graphics are better. Even though the storyline is the same, it's the little details, like when you punch a lady in the face and her glasses fly off and her purse goes. I mean, just magnificent. And stomping cats. Like, where else can you like just hit coyotes crossing the freeway?
You know, every cat I've ever killed never died dramatically. Like, it's like...
No, I've never had a dramatic cat death either. You just step on them and just kind of lay over and and it's
even
like game.
I've had dogs like squeal and stuff like pigs, but not, cats are just like, meh.
Yeah. But the thing is Rockstar definitely did an amazing game, and I could see why they'd want to protect it from piracy. But oh my God, Rockstar, why did you go the always-on authentication route? You guys fucked up. I'm gonna say that right now, because after seeing what happened to SimCity, because like the new SimCity was amazing, the game itself was absolutely amazing. But now you look at people, you're like, hey, how about SimCity? And they just like look at you funny, like what? Because nobody played it after that initial shit that went down. Always on is not the way to go. Single player mode, just leave it alone, guys. I understand if you want to protect multiplayer online with authentication because it implies you have an internet connection. But I hit that damn button that's like, cannot connect to Rockstar servers. Cannot connect to Rockstar servers. I have not once opened GTA 5 without having to click retry at least twice.
No, I've never had that problem.
Maybe it has it might have where your servers are. I probably have to authenticate with different servers than you do.
Do you think it might have something to do with your VPN?
No, I'm not using a VPN actually. Right now I'm on VPN-less.
You heard it, guys. Jerry's wide open.
No, not necessarily wide open. I'm still aggregating through Amazon's data center. So unless you have more combined bandwidth than Amazon, you probably should just like not even bother.
Yeah.
But if you do have more power than Amazon, hey, power to you. I'm curious. Now watch. It's like this.
All of a sudden, Jerry's freeze framed.
No, I haven't had I don't even. The funny thing is, if somebody does DOS attack me, I don't even know what's happening because it all gets taken care of on the other end, on the high bandwidth end of my connection, not at my actual house through the cable modems and DSLs. A lot of people ask me about my networking infrastructure, and I want to do a video on it, but at the same time, I don't want to do a video on it just because I don't want to give anybody specific information on the setup. Not necessarily like IP addresses and stuff like that, but I don't want to give them enough that they can try to like social engineer through it.
Circumvent it.
Yeah, exactly. So, and the thing is, even without the aggregated connection, unless you're able to ascertain the IP address of all three of my connections, you're not going to take me out.
Optic Burn says Lawnmower Guy is really the FBI. I know, right? Because he's using a different... Here's the thing. Our gardeners that we've had for years and years have always had riding mower, and they show up every Friday morning like clockwork. And now all of a sudden, here's a guy I've never seen before using a push mower on a Thursday afternoon, walking around right outside the window. I'm doing Tech Talk where we're talking about the FAA and the FCC. And
dude, he's like casing your house right now, dude.
Oh, man.
Oh, God. Always the fear.
I don't care. So you know what? If the government's interested in me, then I'm doing it right.
That's true. That's true. It means you evoked something from somebody, and that's what we're about in this business.
It means I'm on the right path somewhere.
To somewhere. So yeah, in a nutshell, Rockstar, that's awesome. They're not going to ban people for single player mods, because I'd be lying if I said I don't watch a lot of the single player mod videos.
I want the gravity gun.
Dude, there's so many funny mods. Did you see the mod where the dude has the gun that shoots the cars?
Yeah. That's the gravity gun.
Oh, is that the gravity gun?
It acts just like the gravity gun in Half-Life.
Oh, because the one that I watched, the guy's running around with the big heavy machine gun, and when he pulls the trigger, it just shoots a constant stream of bumper to bumper cars.
No, this one was the gravity gun. Like you could pick up a car and launch it at down the street,
Yep.
and it'll just wipe out all the cars.
Did you see the shark gun one? That was really well done. Where you shoot the person with the fish or whatever, and the shark comes up through the pavement and eats them.
Yeah, and there's the whale mod. People dropping whales from helicopters and things onto traffic.
God, I love how much of a sandbox that game is. Like literally, it's limitless. Like
did you see the dog mod where you're a dog?
Yes, I saw.
The guy went into the strip club and he's a dog, like paws all up in the air in the strip club, getting a lap dance.
No, there's one with the chicken too. There's one with the chicken. He's doing the lap dance. He's putting his feathers on her, and then the two guys carry him out by the wings and kick him out the street. I was like, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
No, that's the cool thing about GTA 5 is it's just like with Half-Life and all the mods that were created for it. It's just endless. GTA 5, you're gonna see so many mods. Like I already saw a mod where somebody was doing Mario Kart. Like all the guys were dressed like Mario and Luigi and the princess, and they're driving around in the little beach buggies.
Right.
So I absolutely love that. If Rockstar had have killed that or tried to stop that, I would have been so pissed because that's what's going to make the PC version so much better than the console version ever could be.
Right.
Let's see here.
We have time for one more question because I actually have something urgent that just came up that I got to go take care of.
Let me pick a good one here really quick. Let's see. No, sorry, not good enough. Nope, that's 3D printing, so I'd talk for an hour. Oh, here's an easy quick one that Jay can answer immediately. Chicken Feed Game says, Jay, are you ever going to get into Bitcoin?
No. That's a quick one. No.
Yeah. And Jerry, do you have any advice for somebody like me getting into Bitcoin? Actually start looking into cloud mining. It's something that I'm looking at right now because it's becoming summertime and my shed's like 80,000 degrees and there's cans of gasoline in there and I don't want it exploding. Mm-hmm. So cloud mining basically is where you pay for somebody else to host the equipment in a place in the world where cooling is cheap and power is incredibly cheap. So overall, you get more money in hash rate, even giving them a small cut than you would if you bought the hardware outright and mined yourself. So, and I probably will be doing a video like that sometime in the next month if you guys want to watch. But let's go ahead and wrap it up so that Jay can attend to his important business that just came up.
Yeah, Miss J needs to be rescued. Apparently, we're having car problems.
Oh, crap. Okay.
Gotta love the automobile problems.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, guys, thanks for watching Tech Talk number 75. I'm going to get out of here and go... Yeah.
Oh yeah. So does that
rescue from the side of the freeway?
Are we blaming Miss JayzTwoCents for ending the stream tonight?
Yeah. Everyone tweet at Miss JayzTwoCents and be like, "Thanks for breaking the car. Now Tech Talk's over."
You guys heard it, Miss JayzTwoCents. Everybody go tweet her right now and say, "Hey, thanks for ending the live stream."
All right, guys. All right. As always, thanks for watching. We're gonna play that outro, and I'm gonna get out of here.
All right, roll it.
Outro's playing. Now the car's broken. Guess that means it's time to buy a new car. It's not even old.
Awesome. Should be any clips. Put a turbo on it and go really fast.
I used to buy new cars every time they needed tires.
We're both poor people now.
All right. See you, everybody.